In a bustling paper company sales office nestled in the heart of the city, three men committed to the gray monotony of paper sales awaited their destiny. Jim was the office joker, with hazel eyes that twinkled with mischief, and a disarming smile that could melt even the coldest of calls. Dwight, the beet-farming, assertive salesman with a penchant for the dramatic, wore his horn-rimmed glasses like armor while clinging tightly to a well-thumbed copy of The Art of War. Steve, the office manager, was a pragmatist. His no-nonsense demeanor concealed a heart full of hope and regret. The rolling hum of printers and the sharp crackle of paper collapsing into boxes created an almost musical ambiance as 9 a.m. kicked in. A typical day until Jim unfurled his latest scheme. Guys, how about we take a team-building retreat? A day out of the office, just the three of us. Team building? Dwight exploded, rising from his chair. His spiraled blonde hair bobbed violently. That's a waste of time. We could get ahead on our calls. I have a meeting with Schrute Farms in an hour. Come on, Dwight, Jim said, leaning back in his chair with infectious enthusiasm. When was the last time we did something fun or memorable? Memorable. Try every time I beat you at those ridiculous pranks. Dwight crossed his arms, his brow knitted in defiance. Steve, perpetually weary yet inquisitive, interjected softly, "Maybe we could use a little adventure, outside our usual routine. It might help us bond. You know." He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "Build courage?" Courage? Dwight's skepticism faded slightly. Is this one of your get fit or die trying narratives, Steve? Jim rolled his eyes playfully. Not everything is about fitness, Dwight. We could hike, or visit that old paper mill I read about, the one rumored to be haunted. You have to admit, something intriguing is lurking there. Haunted? Dwight's interest was piqued, though he fought to mask it. Let's do it, Steve chimed in, excitement creeping into his voice. Let's see what this paper mill is all about. That very afternoon, they piled into Dwight's old pickup truck, the sound of gravel crackling under the tires fueling their shared sense of adventure. Jim cracked jokes about agitated ghosts who once operated paper machines, while Dwight insisted on plotting ghost hunting strategies. Steve remained taciturn, yet invigorated by the budding camaraderie. As they entered the outskirts of town, a creeping fog began to envelop the truck. This is getting thick, Jim laughed, looking through the windshield. Are we driving into a horror movie? Crucial to never split up, Dwight asserted, thumping a fist against his thigh. Let's stick together like professionals. As they arrived at the mill, the structure loomed ominously against a backdrop of dense blackening clouds. The faded sign creaked in the wind. Old Harris Paper Mill. Ivy clawed at the bricks, and shattered windows looked like eyes peering into souls long lost. Jim grabbed a flashlight as they stepped onto the creaky floorboards. The interior was dust-laden and eerily quiet. Ghostly echoes of machinery and distant whispers fluttered in between the shadows. Why do I feel like we are walking straight into a horror movie? Steve chuckled nervously. We're fine. Just focus on the paper, Dwight replied, his bravado faltering slightly. As they wandered deeper into the mill, Jim's laughter faded, replaced by an uneasy tension. Their footsteps echoed as they traced the outline of the production room, where the remnants of a once thriving enterprise lay in decay. A faint sense of nostalgia washed over Steve. Can you imagine the work that went into this place? It's both haunting and beautiful. Suddenly, Jim, trying to brave the creeping chill, pointed at a flickering light in an adjacent room. Hey, what's that? Probably a ghost, Dwight replied, barely hiding his excitement. Or maybe a trick of the light, Steve added cautiously. Armed with only their flashlights, they entered the room. The particles in the air sparkled as their beams danced upon different surfaces, revealing stacks of abandoned wooden crates. The light continued to pulse until it finally blinked out entirely, plunging them into darkness. Whoa! Jim stumbled but caught himself. Okay, now I'm slightly unnerved. In darkness, we find our true selves, Dwight spouted, quoting Sun Tzu while struggling to control his panic. Courage isn't just for battle, it's about facing what frightens us, Steve said. We can't let these shadows scare us. A flicker returned, and in its glow, they spotted an old production machine, its metal surface gleaming unexpectedly. Jim approached first, curiosity wresting power from his nerves. He brushed away decades of dust, revealing the words courage and strength engraved on the casing. What do you think this means? Jim asked, perplexed. Dwight interjected, serious for once. It's a reminder. The mill may be haunting us, but it also tells a story of the past. Each piece of paper that came from here was a product of someone's courage, working against odds. As Steve peered into the depths of the machine with awe, he felt a warmth seep into his chest. The story was becoming clearer. Just like us, this place has seen better times. It's resilient, just like we must be. The lights dimmed once more, but instead of fear, a sense of purpose began to fill the room. Jim captured this moment with a broad smile. To facing our fears, gentlemen! In that unexpected darkness, they formed a circle, each man ready to share their apprehensions, dreams, and regrets for the future. It was as if the very walls of the old mill bore witness, echoing their revelations, releasing the burdens that weighed heavily on their unspoken hearts. An hour passed, and as they finally emerged into the fading light of the evening, they felt lighter, renewed. That wasn't scary. It was actually cathartic, Jim remarked. You both may have won this battle, Dwight declared, a rare smile creeping upon his face. But my beet farm will always be more impressive. And as they drove back, belting their favorite songs about valor and camaraderie, each felt transformed by the day's revelations. Reflecting on ancient strength among the imperfect backgrounds of life, they learned the true essence of courage wasn't just in adventurous exploits, but in confronting personal demons, sharing vulnerabilities, and seeking connection amid darkness. Sometimes, courage lies not in the absence of fear, but in bringing light to it, transforming shadows into stories. Message: courage is the silent whisper in the face of fear, a reminder that even in darkness we can find strength together.